Welcome to a brief introduction to the assessment cycle. I am Marcia Toms, an instructor at Wake Tech Community College. In TALA 104, we will use this as our assessment cycle. It's based on Linda Sutsky's work, and the full reference is in Week 1's folder. The 4 steps are to establish learning outcomes, provide learning opportunities, assess student learning, and then use the results. Let's go through these one at a time. Establish learning outcomes. It's very important that the first thing that you do is actually figure out what are you aiming for. If we don't know what we're aiming for, it's hard to make sure that we get there. So you're going to want to establish the learning outcomes. What is the goal? How do we want students to be different after engaging in this learning activity? Learning outcomes are statements of how students will be different at the end of this learning opportunity. For most courses at the community college, learning outcomes have already been developed, but sometimes those aren't the most useful, and oftentimes we also want to consider more specific learning outcomes. Having a clear statement of what students will learn at this time is important because now is also the time to consider how you're going to measure it. What does reaching these learning outcomes actually look like, and how will you be able to know that the students have met that? This process, known as backwards design, ensures that you have a clear target from the very beginning. Then we provide learning opportunities. Make sure that students actually have the chance in order to develop and demonstrate those skills. One thing we'll be doing is called curriculum mapping, and it's interesting to see how sometimes, even though we might really care about learning outcome X, we might not be spending quite as much time on it as we think we are in our classes. So make sure you provide the learning opportunities. Then you're able to move on to the third step, which is assessing the student learning. Figure out, did the students actually do what you wanted them to do? This could be something as typical as a test that students take, or it could be different. It could be a presentation, it could be an activity, it could be reflective writing. Whatever it is, how do you know that students have actually met those results? And then finally, the most important part is to actually use the result. In some books, this might be called closing the loop, but the idea is that these assessment results don't just sit on a bookshelf. They don't just get turned in to our administrators, but instead we use them to do something. We improve our programs, we change them. Every single result, whether it's positive or negative, can help you make decisions. So for instance, are you going to change the order of your class? Are you going to spend more time on one topic and less on another? Are you going to give more opportunities and different opportunities for students to be able to develop these skills? But whatever you're going to do, use these results, because after you use the results, we go back to the beginning of the cycle. We make sure that our learning outcomes are still appropriate. We might need to change them. And then we make sure that we provide learning opportunities, we assess it, and we use the results. Assessment is an iterative process that helps everyone do better.